The biased BBC are once again helping the Labour Party to bring down the democratically elected government, and not many people seem to be bothered about it. Yes, in another unsurprising piece of news today, we're going to tell you about what's going on with the BBC. The BBC, not just because of Ofcom regulations, but also their own BBC charter, they should have a specific role in society when it comes to broadcasting. I mean, they should be reporting the news, they should try to be factual, they should try to be impartial, and they should be reporting, as I said, not just having their opinions being expressed. That's the job of other media outlets like Sky News or GB News or all the others. The issue we have is that the BBC have found some loopholes to work around this regulation. There are stories like this that keep popping up. The 55 Tufton Street, the other black door shaping British politics. Now, put aside the left-wing bias and right-wing bias that we have. This is not about, let's focus on the actual story. This is a good point. That, in case you don't know, 55 Tufton Street in Westminster, that's where all the think tanks are. The right-wing think tanks, from the Taxpayers Alliance to the IEA, the Adam Smith Institute, and these guys have been advocating policy ideas for years. And most of the time, the Tory government didn't actually listen to them anyway. They were always the outsiders. Even back then, the Tories have been very accused of having the government being run from Tufton Street, even though they didn't do the policy ideas. Now, Liz Truss's new budget, some of the ideas come from the think tanks that are based there. Now, the BBC and the Labour Party are making it sound like some sort of dark arts going around, like, behind closed doors. No, they're just think tanks. And it's normal. Left-wingers have it, right-wingers have it, Americans have it, Brits have it, Germans have it, everyone has it. The way they did this article, and then it's basically a megaphone for the Labour Party. In the actual story, they have Angela Rayner getting involved. Of course they're going to get Angela saying, 55 Tufton Street shouldn't have any more influence than any other street in the UK. Well, maybe we should just change the street name, I guess. That street seems to dominate particular policy and what's happening in government and legislation, and it's not transparent enough. Of course it's transparent. Everything's already public. Everything's on their website. There's no secrecy about the policy ideas. There are think tanks. Think tanks happen everywhere. Now, I'm not even a defender of, it's not about the actual, if you agree or disagree with the policy ideas. That's a whole different thing. The concept is simple. She says that Labour, we're going to change the definition of what lobby groups are. Lobby groups, okay. They're not lobby groups. Like, lobbies are different. Public affairs is different to think tanks. Now, again, I'm not even defending the policy ideas, that all the ideas coming from those think tanks. It's just about being balanced, because when Angela Rayner talks about pressure groups running the country behind closed doors like dark arts, which is weird. What about the Labour Party, who are in the pocket of the political trade unions? I mean, even this TUC conference photo that you can see with Starmer, the slogan that says unions building dignity at work. I thought the union's job was supposed to be protecting workers' rights. Why are they getting involved with visions and, and ideologies? What about all the other pressure groups and so-called lobbies, if you're going to use the word lobby for everything, who help the Labour Party by going out there like angry militant animals to just cause trouble and brainwash people from our education system to the cultural side, the arts and everywhere else? They're everywhere. So that seems to be okay. There we can run the country from those streets, so-called streets. What about how all the big money from the other liberal lobbies that have been funding the Remain campaigns and pressure groups and now rejoin, or having a second referendum nonsense? So that's fine, but having someone advocating for free market ideas, that's just too far now. That's the dark arts. If that's bad, if one is bad, the other one's bad too. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Now we're going to come back in half an hour. We're going to tell you about Gary Neville and his relationship with Qatar as the World Cup gets closer. Subscribe to the channel. I'm my Tousi and we are the media.